I'm so excited to be chatting with all of you about Love Lies Bleeding. I really enjoyed the film, and I just wanted to start off with kind of a big question that I think kind of I know it's scary, summarizes the whole movie, which is just, is love worth it?
Well, yeah, it has to be. Otherwise, we wouldn't do all the stupid, crazy stuff. It sort of has to be, I hope.
Yeah.
Doesn't
it
mean
unfortunately just
stuff to get
is.
it.
Right?
Yeah. We would cease to exist if we didn't like shove our bodies at each other.
True. All the stupid things we do, it really just all comes back to love.
Yeah.
I like to think. So going over to you, Kristen, I wanted to ask, there's been an endless cycle of conversations online about gender expression, and so much of your work kind of ties into that and explores the ideas and intersections of masculinity and femininity. So I wanted to ask why these conversations are so important and how this film ties into that.
Well, yeah, because I think like the kind of prescribed reality that sustained us, but also debilitated most of us for so long is broken. It doesn't apply to the moral majority, you know. So yeah, like it's so weird living in a time where that seems. I mean, it's obviously been. It's like maybe a reductive way of putting it, like thinking that now is the time things are changing. It's been like a slow roll. But right now, the accelerated kind of notable difference in taking up space in a business, like it is different. I mean, I can tell you with my feelings that it's different because they're visceral and available to me. And yeah, so it's like kind of one of those things you don't want to talk about too much because you want to be afforded the kind of like gift of not having to hang a lantern on obvious things, like not having to be the mouthpiece for notions that should be given, you know, the way that we take up space, who we are to ourselves, who we want to fuck. I don't know. Maybe don't think about it. Maybe don't consider that so deeply, man. And so, yeah, like, it's weird because it's like something that I kind of hate having. You know, it's like it's hard to talk about. We don't have like hours to like go into the gender study, like, you know, discussion. But at the same time, it is like, I'm so happy to be asked the question and then say, watch the movie instead of hearing me talk about being a girl or a boy, which is just like going away. It's becoming an obsolete question. It's just like, you know, even like the coming out story, just all of it. It's just sort of like, those are crossing boundaries. We need to set them, decide what they are, and then be able to blast through them if we so choose. And so it feels like movies are kind of doing that for us ladies lately. It feels nice.
Absolutely. I hate that, you know, we always have to ask these questions because we need to keep the conversations going. But then it's like, it's so obvious. Even this movie, why should we have movies about strong women? Why shouldn't we? Like, sure. It doesn't make any sense. Going over to you, Rose, I love that this movie just it pushes all of the limits, and it's so much fun. There's so much going on. I wanted to ask you just how you kind of balanced the thrill with the romance and how important it was to really make sure that they both were there.
I think I guess probably the love story between these guys, for all of its darkness and badness, was still the kind of like guiding light. Most of it, I think everything has to sort of feed back into that. That's sort of the spine of the film, I guess. But I also knew I wanted there to be a lot of violence in it. And I guess falling in love kind of brings up a lot of those sorts of feelings. I don't know, it was a sort of symbiotic relationship between the two.